Now we'll talk about how to find a relative minimum on your graphing calculator. Okay, so all I've done is turn my graphing calculator on, and we want to find the relative minimum of the absolute value of x plus 4 minus 3. Now, to put that, the first thing we need to do is graph the function. So we're going to hit the y equals button, and to get the absolute value, we have to hit math, use the right arrow to go over to number, and this ABS means absolute value. So we're going to do absolute value of x plus 4, close the parentheses, and then subtract 3. Okay, so and if we hit graph, we can see a graph that looks very similar to this one here. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to find this relative minimum point, because one, that will tell us where we switch from decreasing to increasing. So we're going down until there, and then we're increasing after there. And then we'll also be able to tell what the relative minimum is. Okay, so we've done this first step. We've graphed it, and we're able to see it. So it's in the window. If we needed to zoom out or zoom in, we could have done that as well. Okay, now for most of the things we do on graphs, you're going to hit second and then hit the trace button that says calc above it. And we're going to look down and say, oh, we want a minimum. So you can either just hit 3 or go down and choose 3 and hit enter. Okay, now we know our minimum's right here, and it's asking us to be to the left of that. So we need to use the left arrow until we get to the left of that minimum. Okay, so here's the minimum. It's now blinking, and it's on the left side of it. So we're going to hit enter. Now it asks for a right bound. So we're going to move it. We're going to use the right arrow and move it so we get to the other side so that we're to the right of it. And we're going to hit enter. And it asks for a guess. You can move it and take a guess if you want, or you can just hit enter. Okay, and it will now give it. Now, this is actually rounding a little funny. This is actually the value -4. So if we want to label this point here, this is -4 and -2.9999. That should actually be -3. It's just rounding it. It's a little funny. So that's just something about calculators you have to be aware of. Okay. Now that we know that relative minimum, we can talk about where is this function increasing. Well, we know it starts increasing after that x value. So it's increasing from -4 to infinity. Decreasing, we know it was decreasing from -infinity all the way up to that x value. So from -infinity up to -4. And then remember, for our relative minimums or maximums, we say it is the y value. So is -3 at x equals -4.